Welcome to the 34th annual Jewish Culture Festival here in Krakow. Every year, Kazimierz, Krakow's former Jewish quarter, becomes the venue of the annual Jewish Culture Festival. In late 1490s, over 1,000 Krakow Jews were ordered to leave Krakow and to move to the independent town of Kazimierz. Kazimierz was founded by the most prominent king of Poland, the King Kazimierz, in the city's southern suburbs to reinforce the city's fortification system. So in 1490s, following the major fire which happened in Krakow proper, the King of Poland ordered the Krakow Jews to move to Kazimierz. But the Jews continued calling themselves the Krakow Jews, and they were allowed to continue owning and running business in Krakow. The Jewish quarter bordered on the city wall of Kazimierz on two sides, and on the other two sides was fenced off from the Christian quarter, and the only entrance gate into the old Jewish quarter of Kazimierz was here. And interestingly enough, this small square, which used to house the only entrance gate into the old Jewish quarter, serves as the entrance into the venue of the annual Jewish Culture Festival here in Kazimierz. In the corner of the building, you can see the restaurant called Cheder. Its window is decorated with the festival's poster, Kazimierz. That's how the Krakow Jews called Kazimierz in Yiddish. And the image of the old synagogue, which is still there. Every festival has its motive, and this year, the 34th annual Jewish Culture Festival here in Krakow is dedicated to Kazimierz, or Kazimierz, Krakow's old Jewish quarter. And every year the festival has a visual symbol, and this year it's stone, which preserved the memory of the many generations of the Krakow Jews who had been living here in Kazimierz for centuries. At the festival's opening day, its founder, Janusz Makoch, explained why this year the festival was dedicated to Kazimierz. Pre-war Kazimierz, or Kazimierz, that's how the Krakow Jews called it in Yiddish. He also explained why stone was chosen as the symbol of the festival. Jerusalem was built of stone, so was Kazimierz, or Kazimierz. Also, this year's festival was dedicated to Tadeusz Jakubowicz, a Krakow Jew who as a child survived in the Krakow ghetto and in the Plaszow camp, and in 1990s became in charge of the Krakow Jewish community, and he headed the community for several decades until his death last winter. The festival's tent was the central venue of the free events held during the festival, and totally over 100 different events were organized during this festival. A lot of events were also held in the Galicia Jewish Museum, and we are now in the Galicia Jewish Museum, looking at the poster of the special exhibition opened during the festival. Krakow's JCC also held a whole bunch of events and organized the annual Ride for the Living during the festival. And the conference room is up there. One could attend a service at Krakow's only operating old synagogue, known as the Remu Synagogue. And here you again can see the poster with the stone. This is the traditional Orthodox synagogue, which belongs to the Orthodox community of Krakow, and it's fair to say that during the festival, the old Jewish quarter of Kazimierz became the festival's venue, including restaurants, delis. Here you can see the brochures of the festival, and one restaurant even organized a whole bunch of cooking classes. And we are now virtually attending a free cooking class, which was one of the series of the cooking classes held in this restaurant. I'm sure you've heard of tzimmes, a very traditional, a very popular dish of the Ashkenazi Jews, and that's what they are cooking now. Tzimmes. And at the end of the event, all of the attendees could, of course, try it. They also cooked Odessa's Vorschmack, herring pate, gefilte chicken neck was another cooking class. And this restaurant was also a place where one could have dinner. The festival's program offered over 100 different events that catered to both international guests and residents of Krakow, to people of different ages and religious denominations. One could join a historic lecture at the festival's tent or a special exhibition at the Galicia Jewish Museum. And we are now joining a special exhibition which was organized by the staff of the Galicia Jewish Museum and dedicated to a Krakow Jewish family who survived the war under the fake identity. And that's a unique story because all of the family members survived the war with fake documents. This is a lecture, a talk about a woman who changed the world. A Jewish woman who changed the world, and her name was Sarah Schenerer, a founder of the Jewish Schools for Women. The definite highlight of the festival were the daily evening concerts, which this year were held at the recently restored temple, instrumental music and dance workshops, like this one held at the festival's tent. This was a very special event held in a room in the Krakow Old Synagogue and dedicated to the Jewish paper cuts. We are now at the temple, the only Reformed synagogue built by the Reformed Krakow Jews in the late 1800s. This year, it was the venue of the evening concerts, and 2 concerts were held there every evening. Alternatively, one could join a party at the festival stand. And that was something every evening. Shabbat was celebrated at the festival stand.
This week we had the klezmer group,
and here we are at the Shabbat event at the festival stand. Also, one could attend services, a Shabbat service organized by the Reformed community in the Galicia Jewish Museum, or attend a service at the old Krakow synagogue. The highlight of the festival was the Saturday open-air concert, which we're attending at the moment.
The amazing joy of singing together.
Very special places open their doors during the festival. Only once a year, during this fantastic event, the doors of this medieval synagogue, one of the 6 old Krakow synagogues, get opened to host a few festivals events. And this year, they have 3 absolutely amazing exhibitions organized by the festival. And besides, it's a unique chance to go inside the synagogue to enjoy its beautiful original interior. We are now in the entrance lobby, heading to the men's prayer hall, which is on the 1st floor. So only once a year at the annual Jewish Culture Festival, the doors of the synagogue get opened and visitors can see the remains, the fragments of the original interior. And in the old days, the walls of the Krakow synagogues were decorated with inscriptions from the religious Jewish texts. And that's what you can see now. These are the inscriptions from the religious Jewish texts. They were uncovered just recently. The synagogue was closed by the Nazis. After the war, it was given to the Society of the Builders and Construction Workers of Krakow, and only in 1990s the community got it back. So during the festival, the first special exhibition held there was called Women Heal the Fractures of War. It was organized by the Jewish Agency for Israel. The portrait series showcased 9 relationships between women from the Jewish Agency's Fund for Victims of Terror and women they helped during the war. These relationships were born in the darkness and pain in the wake of the Hamas terrorist attack on October 7. Among the stories in the exhibition, there were women who lost those dearest to them and those who mobilized to help communities. The second special exhibition let us see Tel Aviv the way we've never seen it before, with the help of technology. Now we're going to use a special augmented reality technology which will transport us to the streets of Tel Aviv. And make those paintings go live. The third exhibition, held in this former men's prayer hall of the High Synagogue, showcased Israeli small businesses. All these goods were delivered to Krakow just for the festival to be showcased during the festival. And that provided with the Israeli small business owners with a unique chance not only to display their goods, but also to sell them and make money. One could read about the owners on these displays and buy their goods. Support Israeli small businesses. The final look at the men's prayer hall of the medieval High Synagogue, and we continue our journey. For the first time ever, another special event was held during the festival, and that was the light show dedicated to the pre-war Kazimierz. And the light show was projected on the wall of the building of the pre-war prayer house, one of the old prayer houses which belonged to the Krakow Jews. Here you can see the residents of pre-war Kazimierz. They lived in Kazimierz, they worked in Kazimierz, they owned property in Kazimierz. The final day of the festival featured an amazing concert in the temple, the Cantor's concert. Alternatively, one could attend an evening party at the festival's tent, and that was the final event of the 34th Annual Jewish Culture Festival here in Krakow. A DJ session. Farewell and see you next year. 34th Annual Jewish Culture Festival in Krakow is over. The 35th Jewish Culture Festival will happen in Krakow next year around the last week of June. The exact dates to be announced at the beginning of the next year. So we look forward to seeing you here in Krakow for this amazing, fantastic, one of the world's largest Jewish culture festivals. Meanwhile, if you'd like to explore Jewish Krakow and Jewish Galicia in person with your private guide, contact us at yourjewishheritageguide.com. Tours for the curious mind. Till next year.